factual.
What he's being known for with Cassie, I can only equate to some of the things that I've seen him and Kim go through.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to puppy camp?
Hell no. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before force was invented. You know what I'm saying? With my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes because he used to always get it early.
I definitely used to wrestle. Look at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart having a nigga, this is probably a scene after he just diddled Kevin Hart. These niggas having the time of his life. Kevin Hart, you're cooked, bro.
What the did Puff just say?
Kim's dead. And D's dead.
Kim's dead?
Andre Morell's dead.
Who?
The only two left are Puffy and Al, and Al almost died. Isn't it interesting?
There's no way this kid should be getting, this man should be getting an icon award when all he has done was destroy the people around him.
Shout out Real Life Productions, Our Dialogue, Storm.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this one, we do something that we've never done before. We take a deep dive into one of America's most controversial figures. He's loved by some, hated by others, but everyone knows that he's a boss that you never want to piss off. As talented of a genius as he is, he's also known to be equally as angry, manipulative, and flat-out evil. So in this video, we gather information and opinions to create an unbiased and hopefully accurate depiction of the man himself. This is Surviving DIddy, so let's dive in.
God.
The story begins in 1970s Harlem, a very rough place at the time. Poverty and violence ruled the community, and people did what they had to do to survive.
Actual documentary, bro.
One of the hardest, also known as Heavy D. When his father, though, a man who climbed the ranks as a dealer in Harlem. But Melvin lived a double life, one where he risked his life and freedom in the streets, and another where he provided for his wife and 2 children. But by all accounts, Melvin and his wife did a great job sheltering their kids from the chaotic streets. Sadly, though, in the mid-1970s, Melvin would lose his life to a deal gone wrong.
Okay, so is Melvin P. Diddy's father? Yeah,
On paper, Melvin was just another statistic, one of the thousands in New York City. But to his son named Sean, he was his everything. Sean was in elementary school when his father passed away, and his mother always told him that it was a car crash. Her idea was to shelter him from all things bad. She even moved him into the suburbs. So in the 6th grade, the family moved to the city of Mount Vernon, and Sean attended a private Montessori school. In many cases, going from inner city to a private school can be a struggle, but not for a young Sean Combs. He was highly intelligent and charismatic, an instant leader amongst boys. So Sean spent the rest of his adolescence in Mount Vernon, thriving amongst his wealthier classmates. After high school, his good grades led him to the prestigious Howard University. There, he became an absolute star in all facets. He joined a fraternity and was known for throwing the best parties in D.C. On top of this, he started a cab service that would safely take home drunk students after parties. He was already a natural business.
So how did it go wrong then?
This man and everyone knew that he was destined for success. All he had to do was wait patiently for his first major opportunity. For him, this would come rather early. In fact, it was in 1989 after his freshman year. While home in Mount Vernon, he linked up with a good childhood friend named Dwight Myers, also known as Heavy D. Growing up, Heavy D was like a big brother to Sean, a mentor in many ways. Well, Heavy was a talented rapper, and by 1989, he signed a major deal with Uptown Records. So over the summer, he introduced his friend Sean to the owner of Uptown Records, a respected mogul by the name of Andre Harrell. Right off the bat, Andre took a special liking to a young Sean Combs, like an oddly special liking. I guess he saw major potential in him because he decided to give him a major opportunity right away. So in the summer of 1989, Sean was hired as an intern at Uptown Records. Over the summer, Sean...
That's actually, so Diddy got actually some crazy opportunities. That's good.
Sean spent countless hours in the studio and in meetings with major artists from around the country. It was truly a dream come true for a freshman in college, something that's pretty much unheard of.
No, dead ass, that's crazy.
Well, the fall comes around and Sean has to return to campus in D.C. Andre didn't want him to go and tried to convince him to drop out and stay with the label, but Sean's mother was not having it. So together they came to a compromise. Twice a week, Sean would take the train from DC to New York to be at the Uptown office. This was 4 hours each way, meaning that Sean spent a total of 16 hours a week just to remain an intern at Uptown. This really didn't make any sense. What could he bring to the table that required him to do all of this hassle? Well, you might find out in just a second, so hold on. This crazy lifestyle continued for a few months until Andre Harrell put his foot down. He offered him a full-time job at the label if he would drop out of Howard and return back to New York.
Damn, why do you want him to drop out so bad? What type of fucking mentor is this? What type of like fucking... I mean, personally, if I was in Diddy's spot, I would have been dropped out. But no mom is gonna let their kid drop out, so... I'm guessing Diddy...
Sean accepted it and it worked out extremely well.
Yeah,
this is because at just 20 years old, Sean was promoted to the vice president of the label. Whoa, now we're all thinking the same thing, aren't we? Why in the world would Andre Harrell promote a 20-year-old to the vice president of his label? The music industry is one of the hardest to crack, and for most it takes decades to get this position. So how did Sean Combs really get this job so young? And that leads us to a little bit of deep diving history. Back in the day, Andre Harrell had a very similar story to Sean Combs. He was another college student in the Bronx hoping to one day work in the music industry. And while in college, he was discovered by a legendary music mogul by the name of Clive Davis. For those who don't know, Clive is famous for founding Arista Records and for being one of the first moguls to come out of the closet.
Oh, he's gay? I don't even know who he is.
Clive took a special liking to Andre and took him under his wing in the music industry. Long story short, in 1985, Andre was given funding to start his own music label, one called Uptown Records. So just like Puff, Andre went out and discovered underground rappers, one of which being Heavy D. So again, this begs the same question: how did Andre get this position at such a young age? Well, according to Sean's former assistant, it's all a power dynamic with Clive Davis at the top. The insinuation is that
Clive is the one pulling strings, low-key.
Boss takes advantage of a young intern and will pay them back later on.
What just happened? What is this? What? I can't hear anything. Wait, did I just mute something? Wait, what?
Don't tell me that Andre...
Okay, I don't know why that shit got muted, but okay. P. Diddy, Andre on the screen right now. I don't know. I can't hear anything. Pointing to Andre.
Tell us how it was mentored by Clive Davis.
Don't tell me that Andre Harrell got by Clive Davis too.
Bro. Oh yeah, because Clive Davis was gay. So of course I mean, if you say if someone that comes out, no. Actually, what am I saying? Well, you guys know what I'm talking about. Clive took a special liking to Andre, so I mean, he definitely has to do something for that start, that cash Clive gave him to start his record label or some shit. Maybe he just liked him though, but I'm just guessing. Because if someone that just came out of the closet is taking a special liking to you, it's not always a good look, Chad.
Don't tell me that Andre Harrell got by Clive Davis too.
Regardless of the truth, stories like these have always been rumored in entertainment. Essentially, you get taken advantage of by those in power, and that's how you make it in your industry. Then the idea is that over time, the former victims become the perpetrators. Now, of course, these are all just rumors, but Jaguar does get more specific. When Sean was hired in Uptown, Andre Harrell had a personal assistant named Kim Porter, and the rumor states that she caught Sean doing special favors for Andre.
Like, what type of special favors?
But then again, you had it in for Andre because Andre used to make use. And Kim Porter had footage of it.
What did she say?
We're all just rumors, but Jaguar does get more specific. When Sean was hired at Uptown, Andre Harrell had a personal assistant named Kim Porter, and the rumor states that she caught Sean doing special favors for Andre.
But then again, you know, you had it in for Andre because Andre used to make you
Suck his dick?
Bruh.
DIddy! Oh, he started from a young age. DIddy. Oh, hell no.
and Kim Porter had footage of it. And Kim Porter.
Because that's probably what Clive used to do to Andre, so now Andre's doing it to DIddy. It's a cycle. Yeah, but they're right. It's a cycle, bro.
Had footage of
That
it.
footage. That's
The rumors have never proven to be true, but they will be important later on. Well, make of all that what you want, but the fact is that Sean's career took off from here.
I believe it.
After becoming the vice president of Uptown, Sean truly put his head down and grinded for success. He scouted the local underground scene in order to find his first diamond in the rough. This is how he discovered his first artist in 1991, an MC out of Long Island by the name of Craig Mack. Craig was an instant success, but Sean wasn't satisfied with just him. While scrolling through the Source magazine, Sean was intrigued by a rapper in the unsigned hype section. This would be a young rapper out of Brooklyn by the name of Notorious Big. So in March of 1992, Sean got in contact with Big and brought him to the studio. He was blown away by his talent and instantly signed him to Uptown Records.
That's big, right?
This was his next Uptown project. Now I know what you're thinking, but Biggie was a certified street dude and he was not going for that. It was strictly a business relationship, and here's where things get interesting.
Yeah, this nigga's like, Biggie's like, I ain't sucking none.
It's the fall of 1992, and Biggie completes his first album to be released. The debut album is called Ready to Die, and both him and Sean feel very strongly about the project. But there's a major problem in the way. Uptown's parent company refuses to release the album.
Why?
They expressed that the album was not to their liking and contained too many explicit lyrics. As you would expect, Sean was upset, and so was Biggie. Sean did not respond well to the decision, and because of this, he was fired from Uptown Records in late 1992.
Wow. Bro, he got fired because they didn't like Biggie's album. That's crazy.
This was devastating, but Andre Harrell had his back no matter what.
For me, was when NCA wanted me to not put out the Big Small album because they didn't like the subject matter, and they wanted me to tell him he's got to change his tone, and it wasn't up to me, I felt, to tell the generation what they could and could not do artistically. So I knew it wasn't going to work because he was coming from a new space and a new era. And Biggie Smalls was more like in the streets and telling street stories. And he told me, well, I'm really letting you go so you can get rich. I'm really letting you go so you can get rich.
But was this really the case, or was something else at play? Puff had just gotten fired from his dream job at the age of 23. Most people would be devastated, but Sean fell right back on his feet. Just a month after being fired, Sean started his own label called Bad Boy Records. Obviously, the 23-year-old didn't have the pockets to fund it himself, so it was initially a partnership with Arista Records. Wait, let's get this straight. So Sean was fired by Uptown and then given his own label by Uptown's bosses. How does that make sense?
Yeah, how does that even make any sense? What?
Well, it's possible that Jaguar Wright was correct.
He stepped around Andre Harrell.
So, Jaguar, or whatever his name said, they fired DIddy so he could get rich. So, okay.
And gave you the keys to the kingdom. Andre was aligned.
Jaguar Wright was correct.
Let me
He
hear.
stepped around Andre Harrell.
But this girl knows too much, bro. She might be cooked. This girl might be cooked in the future.
By Uptown's bosses.
She
How
knows
does
that
that make
makes
sense?
She knows
Well,
that.
it's possible that Jaguar Wright was correct.
He stepped around Andre Harrell and gave you the keys to the kingdom. Andre was aligned.
So again, here's the idea. Andre Harrell had to do special favors for Clive Davis in order to be hired and then get his own label. And once Andre established his label, he repeated the same cycle on Sean Combs.
Yeah, it's like a
But
cycle.
former Uptown singer and assistant Jaguar Wright, she believes that Clive Davis was in on it as well. I guess her idea is that Sean did things for Andre in order to be hired, and then he did things for Clive in order to climb the ranks. And being that Clive is above both of them, he had the authority to give Sean his own label.
Andre got passed over.
So they basically just stepped over Andre. Oh, I don't know why this shit's muted.
Clearly trust you.
Fuck.
Intern. And that's because you know Clive Davis, and we all know he has lots of secrets. Clearly trust you. He stepped around Andre Harrell and gave you the keys to the kingdom. Andre was in line.
If the rumored power dynamic is true, then Clive Davis did replace Andre Harrell with Sean Combs, meaning that now instead of Andre, it was Sean doing special favors for Clive. And as a reward, Clive made Andre drop him from Uptown and gave him his own label. Of course, though, this is all silly speculation. But what's not speculation is that Uptown's artists were released from their contracts and were able to sign with Bad Boy Records. This way, Sean now had full control over Biggie and Craig Mack. Well, after starting Bad Boy, Sean started going by the alias Puff Daddy. This is a name given to him by his mom because when he was a kid, he used to huff and puff whenever he was mad. So now we enter the era of Puff Daddy and Bad Boy Records.
Bro, stop
Puff's
calling
Bad
me
Boy
Puff
released their
Daddy.
first album in July of
Pause.
1994, which was Craig Mack's Flavor of the Year. The album took off to immediate success, and this is how Bad Boy entered the industry. Then just 2 months later, Biggie's debut album, Ready to Die, released as well. Both albums did well, and Puff was eager to keep it going. So just 2 weeks after Biggie's album, Bad Boy released Craig Mack's second album, Funk the World. Puffy couldn't miss it. He was eager to recruit more and more new artists. He was becoming so respected in the industry that other moguls were coming to him for advice. And that takes us down to Atlanta, Georgia. In 1992, music mogul L.A. Reid discovered a 12-year-old singer named Usher Raymond. While watching him perform at a local talent show, he saw some Michael Jackson in him. He was so impressed that he signed him to his label, LaFace Records, at just 13 years old. Interestingly enough, LaFace Records was under the Arista umbrella. Just keep that in mind. Well, the story goes that in order to prep Usher for his music career, he was sent to go live with none other than Puff Daddy. So at 14 years old, Usher was sent to live with Puffy full-time, something known as Puffy's Flavor Camp. I guess the idea was for Puffy to mentor him and send him down the right path. But according to Usher, there was a lot more going on than just that.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn from... Yeah, that's what it's called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's.
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
Not really. I mean, but there, hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What was
I went there to see the lifestyle. Right. And I saw it. But I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
And your parents were
Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, could you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And what kind, do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're
That's
a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to puppy camp?
Hell no.
See?
Many people out there believe that Usher was Puffy's first victim of the power ritual. There's no proof to
100%,
show
bro. That nigga got diddled in that house, bro.
that, but these clips may convince you that something strange was going on.
I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the.
But why did he have to say that? I was a little bit older. Well, what is that even? What? I don't know why he said it like that.
Frosted Flakes, you know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented, you know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world.
Yo, what the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live.
Whoa! Whoa! They got Kevin Hart! He got Kevin Hart! Bruh. Oh, hell no! Yeah, Kevin Hart got diddled confirmed, bro. Look at how he just manhandled Kevin. He's in a room with Kevin Hart alone. Kevin Hart is cooked. If P. Diddy is ever in a room with Kevin Hart alone, Kevin Hart is cooked. Bro, I actually do think they've been in a room alone together. That's why I'm just saying Kevin Hart probably got diddled. This is not even like, I know you guys probably laughing behind the screen watching this video. You're probably watching this YouTube video. Because I might post this on YouTube. I might not. I might just leave it, you know. But most likely I am going to post on YouTube. But if I do, bro, guys, don't laugh, bro. This is not even funny. Like, this nigga, Diddy, is actually a sick person. Who the fuck is this nigga?
So what do you guys think? Is Usher a part of surviving Diddy, or is this just the silliest?
Yes, for sure he is. For sure he is a part of surviving Diddy. Hi, baby daddy. Oh my god. Yanni, what's up?
Shit. Well, now we move on to the next chapter.
Okay, what's the next one?
Regardless of all the nonsense, Puff was truly a genius at discovering and developing artists, and in the process he was gaining immense wealth and power in the industry. As you would expect, the success got to his head pretty quickly. By many accounts, Puff grew an obsession with having complete control. He wanted control over everyone around him, even for the silliest things. So here's the first example. The year is 1995 and Craig Mack is eager to continue his success, so he puts together his third studio album, one by the name of Operation Get Down. The story goes that he brings the album to Puff to get it released, but things don't go as planned. Puff allegedly tells Craig Mack that if he wants the album released, he has to fire his manager and then hire a bad boy.
What?
Studio album, one by the name of Operation Get Down. Craig Mack is accounts Puff grew an obsession with having complete control. He wanted control over everyone around him, even for the silliest things. So here's the first example. The year is 1995 and Craig Mack is eager to continue his success.
Craig Mack is eager to continue his success. Craig Mack is one of the artists that Craig Mack is one of the artists Diddy brought to his label. Okay? His face just looks like he's freaking on everyone. Oh yeah, well I mean, yeah. Where do you think he got the name Diddy from?
So he puts together his third studio album, one.
Okay, so he put together his third studio album. Okay.
By the name of Operation Get Down.
Operation Get Down. Okay.
The story goes that he brings the album to Puff to get it released.
Okay. So Craig Mack brings his album to Diddy. His basically Diddy is his label. Record deal, like yeah, where you basically like Diddy's the higher up who he brings his shit to, so he can release it because he's in a label or a record deal or whatever you call it back then. And what does Diddy say?
But things don't go as planned. Puff allegedly tell
if you want it released, fire your manager and hire mine. What the fuck?
Craig Mack that if he wants the album released, he has to fire his manager and then hire a bad boy manager. But Craig's manager is one of his closest friends and has been rocking with him since day one. Because of this, Craig is loyal to him and tells Puffy no.
Oh, W Craig.
Even though it's
I would have told him no too.
Silly request, Puffy is pissed because he doesn't have control over the situation.
Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't with him no more. Craig wasn't getting rid of his management. Craig said, yo, listen here, man, I'm not changing my manager just because you want to. Puff said, yo, I ain't that kid no more. Not at all. I was right there when he said that. Told Craig Mack, you don't change your manager, I ain't fucking with you.
Craig stands on his principles and refuses to fire his manager, so Puffy decides to be petty. He completely stops paying him and refuses to release his music.
Oh yeah, he's weird.
This made things awkward at Bad Boy, as Craig no longer had the power to control his career or his narrative. In this 1995 interview, you can see the awkwardness on full display. Like, Craig Mack could not believe that Diddy would really lie on camera like that.
I'm sure you got much things in store for my man. Yeah, definitely. We got a new album we're working on him to drop in January.
You can see the disbelief in Craig Mack's face, like, no way he's saying this.
That nigga said, when you dropping the album, nigga?
From here, frustrations grew further between Bad Boy and Craig as Craig felt betrayed by his boss. I was your first artist. I was the one who took the risk and signed to your label. And more importantly, I've made you a whole lot of money. And now you're willing to throw away my career over a silly manager. What is going on? But not only did...
And the manager, it's not like it's a random manager. The manager is his close friend. Like, bro, Diddy, you're weird.
Puff want his career to dwindle, it's also rumored that he wanted him killed. Craig knew what Puff was capable of, so everywhere he went, he rolled around with a blicky, something very risky in New York City. He even contemplated getting rid of Puff in order to save his own life.
I had a gun in my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this. But if it comes to getting ugly where somebody's going to be trying to kill me, I'm going to have to do something first or do something to prevent that from happening.
That's crazy.
In what world should an artist have to fear for his life because his own boss wants to harm him? Well, Craig says that Puff tried to set him up at the studio, but when he showed up with certified goons, he decided to back off. So thankfully the situation didn't end terribly, but it was the start of a new era for Puffy. Not only had he become a control freak, but now he was bringing the threat of violence to the table. Slowly, the golden child of the industry was becoming the villain behind closed doors. And now we enter Diddy's violent era. While the Craig Mack drama was taking place internally, a whole nother beef was stewing in the industry. By the fall of 1994, Bad Boy had competition for rap's biggest label, and this would be California's Death Row Records. Particularly, Tupac had become the biggest star in rap, and everyone wanted a feature. In this case, Uptown Records producer Ron G wanted Tupac to record a verse for Biggie Smalls. So Pac asked for $7,000, and Bad Boy agreed to pay for the verse. So Pac records the verse with Ron G and then is told to go to the Quad Studios in Manhattan to pick up the money. And that takes us to November 30th, 1994. Pac arrives in Manhattan and walks to the Quad Studios. As he's entering the building, he hears some Bad Boy associates yelling his name from the upstairs window. Pac is excited to meet with Bad Boy and he walks in the lobby to take the elevator upstairs. But as he approaches the elevators, two men in masks are waiting for him right there. Before he can run, the men whip out and reach for his pockets. Pac tries to fight them off, but that's when the men make a wild decision. While being carried out of the lobby, Pac flips off Notorious Big and other Bad Boy associates, assuming that they set him up. Thankfully though, Tupac would survive his injuries after a successful surgery. Speaking of injuries, if you were a loved one or ever injured, you deserve the absolute best on your side. That's because your injury could be worth millions. In that case, you can create a more fight hard number 850 nations if you may know that you least soap, or just click the link in the beef that Bad Boy set him up to be killed. At the time though, he couldn't do anything about it as he had his hands tied with a legal case involving a woman. In fact, the day after his surgery, he appeared in court where he was sentenced to 8 months in Rikers Island.
Wow, the day after getting shot is crazy.
While incarcerated, the national story was that Bad Boy set him up to be robbed. On top of this,
okay, but like, I mean, it makes sense, bro. You go to Bad Boys, or you know, you go to like a record label to pick up the money for a verse, and then two people come and shoot. Like, how do they know? Like, how do the two people know you're gonna be there? Like, bro, what type of setup is this, bro? Like, what?
Pac did an interview while incarcerated where he said that Bad Boy did it overtly. He claimed that when he was on the way to the studios, Puff kept calling him to see where he was. He wanted to know when exactly he would get in, and that was Pac's main
Diddy definitely did it. Diddy definitely did it, bro.
reasoning for thinking they set him up. Because of this, Puff was under major scrutiny, and he needed to clear it up.
So I said, I'm saying, what's up to him? I'm about to be on the elevator, and he comes out shot.
The Tupac article had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, he dissed my man, said my man turned his back on him, and I know for a fact that didn't happen, you know what I'm saying? And like the rumors that's spreading is on some tip like we set him up, you know what I'm saying? And that's crazy, and that's crazy.
If there's any psychologists watching, please let me know why Puff's eyes are having a dance battle. Anyways, Puff was not done clearing the air. In fact, he visited Tupac at Rikers Island to assure him that Bad Boy had nothing to do with it. But was this really the case? Because Puff's bodyguard claims that he let this happen to Pac.
The people who knew
His bodyguard, yeah, he did it.
was going to
If
happen
your own
to Pac
bodyguard is saying this, just, yeah, you did it, bro.
was in the studio, was in the part of the quad studio with Jimmy Hitchman, and that was Andre Harrell and Puff. So Puff knew. Andre Harrell knew.
If Gene Deal's perspective hasn't convinced you, then maybe what happens next will.
Oh, no,
In February of 1990,
bro, it took fucking Tupac going on that elevator and getting shot to convince me. It did not take that nigga's perspective to convince me. That ass.
1995, Biggie released a hit song called Who Shot You, which many people think is a Tupac diss. And one of these people was Pac himself, who felt betrayed and lied to by Puff. You told me one thing to my face, but your actions proved otherwise. To an alpha male like Pac, that was the ultimate disrespect. Well, after the record, all peace was off the table and Death Row cut ties with Bad Boy. That takes us to August 3rd, 1995. It's the annual Source Awards in New York City, and Death Row were nominated for Soundtrack of the Year. Of course, tensions are in the air because the show is in New York, and everyone is curious if anything will happen. Well, Death Row wins the award, and Suge takes the stage.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Second of all, I'd like to thank my whole entire Death Row family on both sides, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to tell Tupac keep his guards up, we ride with him. What other thing I like to say?
Look at Snoop Dogg.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the records, dancing. Come to Death Row.
This was obviously a sneak diss at Puff, and the crowd was not feeling it. To make matters worse, Snoop Dogg takes the stage and doubles down.
The East Coast don't love Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. The East Coast ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Death Row. Y'all don't love us. Y'all don't love us. Well, let it be known then. We know y'all East Coast. We know we at East Coast.
This moment here officially kicked off the Bad Boy versus Death Row beef. This meant that Puff's gangster was now being put to the test for real. Being that they exist on opposite ends of the map, interactions would not be often, but being in the same industry, the sides were bound to cross paths. September 23rd, 1995. Here we are in beautiful, well, not at the time, but here we are in Atlanta, Georgia for Jermaine Dupri's birthday celebration at the Platinum House nightclub. Here, much of the rap industry will be in attendance by midnight. Early in the night, though, it's just the Bad Boy crew and associates hanging in the club before it opens. This would, of course, be Puffy, his bodyguard Wolf, Too Short, Dallas Austin, and plenty more. So they're all chilling in the club, and a couple of hours go by. And this is when they receive some unexpected visitors. At 10 p.m., the Death Row crew arrive at the Platinum House parking lot. First, a death row associate named Big Jake walks in the club to scope it out. He then looks around and sees Puff Daddy and Jermaine Dupri sitting at a table in the corner.
Oh, okay.
He instantly walks back to the parking lot to tell Suge where they are. Then together, the massive duo walk into the club headed for Puffy.
And those two are big guys by themselves. Those two look like bodyguards. These two are big guys, so let's see what happens.
They walk straight up to the table, and that's when Suge Knight slaps Jermaine Dupri directly across the face.
Oh, hell no! This skinny ass nigga? Oh, hell no.
This is simply to get to Puffy, who's standing right behind him. Suge then grabs Puff by his arm and brings him in. He begins yelling at Puff, but that's when Wolf gets in between them. He tells Suge it's not going to go down like that. So it turns into a brawl, and they're all escorted out of the club. After all this, Suge and Puff actually hug it out and squash the beef.
No way.
But then out of nowhere, shots go off across the street. So they all duck down and look over to see what's going on. All it is a man across the street shooting his gun into the air. But while everyone is distracted, a man walks right behind Big Jake.
That's a distraction?
We own the club, the Platinum House. I had been at Jermaine Dupri's party and I seen Jake, and he was looking for Puff and they was looking for Jermaine and them there. I didn't see them at their own party. Jermaine Dupri, his security, Puff, with Wolf. And Jake looks in and see these guys. Suge came back, boom, 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 boom. He came right in and slapped the out of Jermaine Dupri. And Puff was standing right there, and he snatched Puff with one hand. Suge had him with one hand and was shaking him. Then Wolf reached over and grabbed him. And going down like this, no more. Standing there, Suge's in front of with Puff. They walked to the limo. All of a sudden, somebody started shooting across the street. I could see the dude just busting. Pop, 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 pop. They called the play for the overlay. They started shooting across the street to make everybody look. We looked. The dude came out of nowhere and just touched Jake. And Jake was about 400 pounds.
Big Jake was Suge's best friend and death row security wherever they went.
Yeah, because that guy is huge.
So this loss was devastating to death row, but they had no idea who did it. But
yeah, I don't think, because if they just randomly went to a bar, I don't think Diddy would know they're coming. So I don't think Diddy killed him. Well, no, it was probably one of Diddy's guys because of the whole brawl thing. But like, yeah, I don't think Diddy actually had like an involvement in this one.
Then a few days later, 3 witnesses reported that Puff's bodyguard Wolf was the assailant. Whoa, did Puff's bodyguard take out Suge Knight's best friend? Big Jake was Suge's best friend and death row security wherever they went. So this loss was devastating to death row, but they had no idea who did it. But then a few days later, 3 witnesses reported that Puff's body...
3 witnesses. Puff's, okay. 3 witnesses.
But they had no idea who did it. But then a few days later, 3 witnesses reported that Puff's bodyguard Wolf was the assailant. Whoa, did Puff's
bodyguard. Wow.
Bodyguard take out Suge Knight's best friend. Well, about a week later, Wolf was arrested for the incident. So does this mean that Puff ordered the hit of Suge Knight's best friend?
But I don't think P. Diddy did it though. I'm not trying to defend this guy. P. Diddy's a horrible fucking person, but bro, there's just no way he could have known they were coming to the same club they were at. Like,
Death Row definitely assumes so, but Wolf was able to beat his case about a year later.
How do you?
In the meantime, though, the beef was up. With Tupac shot and now Big J killed, Death Row was looking at Puffy like an absolute menace. And coincidentally, not too long after the loss of Big Jake, Tupac was released from Rikers Island. As soon as he got back to LA, he hopped in the studio and recorded Hit 'Em Up. One, if not the most disrespectful song in rap history. He dissed Biggie by saying that he smashed his girl and pretty much obliterated the whole Bad Boy camp. As you would expect, Puffy was pissed. But at this time, he felt invincible, so he decided to do the unthinkable. He decided to schedule a Bad Boy tour on the West Coast, from Seattle down to San Diego. However, he knew that the tour was a risk, so he decided to tap in with his best connection in LA. This would be a man named Keefy D, who he met at a hydraulic shop in Compton. Essentially, in 1994, Puff asked Keefy if he could borrow one of his cars for a video, and they locked in from there.
He had called up our hydraulic place and asked to use a lowrider.
But Keefe wasn't just a car guy, he was also a high-ranking member of Compton's Southside Crips. So naturally, when Puff announced his tour, he hired Keefe and the Southside Crips to protect him.
Yeah, the West Coast tour coming up. Pacific came pick me up, we rolled up Greenleaf in our neighborhood, and his phone rang, boom, and it was tough. And like, you think the school come out here and do concerts?
Yeah, Diddy's
It
bold.
wouldn't be cool. Just let me know the dates and give me some tickets. We had the Crips there, but I see he was trying to play us against each other. Crips, Bloods, you know what I'm saying? Sugar, Blood, we the Crips.
So behind the scenes, Puff was potentially creating a beef between Compton Crips and LA Bloods.
I guess he played his part. Dude with the red, I get the blue.
Well, thankfully, nothing happened and the tour went smoothly. But later that year, they would run into each other at the Soul Train Awards and they would have a standoff backstage. Allegedly, Tupac and Suge pulled up on Puffy.
You hear the door go boom, and then you see Tupac with Suge and about 1,000 Bloods and Crips walking down the middle of the auditorium, just screaming because Big Dem had just went off. So just imagine Tupac coming, walking down the aisle, walking up the steps, and just walking into the back. It wouldn't have been too good if they got hold to him, because they couldn't have handled what they had with them at that time. Like, nah, they were totally outnumbered.
Puff felt embarrassed and disrespected, and something needed to be done. So allegedly that next night, he took Keefe out to dinner on the Sunset Strip. And there, according to Keefe, Puff offered him $1 million to get rid of Pac.
He Puff, you're at this
that's crazy.
place called Green Glass Deli on Sunset, and he tells Keefe, man, I just need you to take care of the situation with Suge and Tupac.
Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Suge or Tupac. Both of them.
Yeah, both their names came out.
$1 million in 1995 is equivalent to over $2 million today. And to a Compton Crip who's probably broke, this is life-changing money. If this is actually true, then Puff is a cold man, because there's no way in the world that any gang member would ever turn this down. And Puffy knew this. It was only a matter of time. September 7th, 1996. It's a big day in Las Vegas as Mike Tyson is set to fight at the MGM Grand. Of course, for the big fight, all of the celebrities are in town, including Tupac. Well, it's the afternoon and everyone is having fun before the event. Particularly Tupac and Suge Knight are walking through the casino lobby. That's when they're approached by a man who's being disrespectful. This would be a young man named Orlando Anderson, the first cousin of Keefe D and fellow Southside Crip. Well, the story goes that he disrespects Pac, and Pac stalks him in front of everyone. Orlando is furious, so he goes and gives a statement to police. Then he meets up with Keefe D and tells him about what happened at the casino. So Keefe and Orlando sit in the hotel room thinking about what they can do. Then they get a call from a very important factor. This would be a New York plug and associate of Puffy by the name of Eric Von Zip. Zip allegedly calls them and says to meet him.
Bro, everybody's connected, like, bro. Like, everybody's connected. It's crazy.
His rental car. Keefe and Orlando hop in and he hands them a Glock 40. They then hop out and Zip takes off. Keefe and Orlando then hop in their own car. 11 p.m. The Tyson fight empties out and Tupac hops in Suge's BMW 7 Series. Suge then pulls off and stops at a red light on Las Vegas Boulevard. Coincidentally, Orlando and Keefe happen to be reaching the same red light. They hear some girls yelling Tupac's name and approaching the BMW.
Oh my god, those girls sold him. Oh, I would have been tight if I was Tupac. I'm looking up at the sky. Oh.
That's when they pull alongside the car. From there, Orlando rolls his window down and the rest is history. Bang. The incident shocked the world and shifted all the attention away from the Mike Tyson victory. The world's biggest rapper was now in critical condition and not expected to survive. 5 days later, on September 13th, Tupac was pronounced dead at the hospital. Everyone wanted to know who did this, but no witnesses ever came forward.
It was Diddy. Now we gotta get Diddy.
Well, here's where things get juicy. Damn, that was corny. Right after the news broke, Keefe D recalls getting a call from Puffy. He claims that Puff asked him, "Was that us?" and promised him the $1 million reward.
You said the Puffy called and said, "Was that us?"
The Puffy called too, right? Yeah, him and Biggie's wife. What's her name? Fair. Yeah. So tell me about that. Only 2 calls. They just asked, "Was that us?" Who said that? Puff, yeah.
Now it's time for Puff to pay up. He allegedly sends a $1 million check to Zip and tells him to wire it to Keefe.
Zip had a check in his right back pocket, and that check was for $1 million. And that check was for $1 million.
Now, all that needs to happen is for Zip to deliver it to Keefe, and his life is changed forever. But did you guys think that would actually happen?
Oh, he took the check and then he...
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money.
Everybody cross you.
Yeah, but I don't know why Diddy would give it to Zip to give it to, like, nigga, I mean, it's $1 million, bro. Like, come on.
You guys never got any money.
Never.
For anything.
Not even a pair of Sean John drawers.
Man, what was Puff thinking? It's almost like he orchestrated this.
But he never gave the money to
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave him money, Puffy would be in prison now, money for hire.
You know, everyone.
Diddy's smart. Oh, Diddy is smart.
Zip keeping the money kind of shielded everyone from the situation. And
so he's a savior type of way.
According to the FBI, because Zip didn't give the money to Keefe, Puffy dodged prison. But here's my question. Is Puff really responsible for what happened to Tupac? Yes, he did offer the $1 million, but it was Tupac jumping Orlando Anderson that really caused the situation, right? Well, Keefe disagrees.
It was both. But Andy Anderson didn't just start, I don't think he just started dissing Tupac for no reason.
Does he think that Puff is to blame?
If I would have never met him, I would have never been involved in this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, man. So you feel like Puffy, he's the reason for your empire and Suge's empire going down because of the whole situation with Tupac.
Exactly. He the only one still going. Because he pitted us against each other, it seemed like.
But what do you guys think? Is Puff responsible for the loss of Tupac? Or is Keefe D a grown man not taking responsibility for his actions? Well, if you ask Diddy, he'll tell you that he had nothing to do with it.
Now, it was a documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, Chester, we don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there with all due respect, but... Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bro.
Regardless of what you believe, the truth is that Puff was becoming the boogeyman of the rap game. With Big Jake and now Pac gone, Puff felt like nobody could mess with him. His violent ways were just starting, and that takes us to the next chapter of the story. After the passing of Tupac, Puff went about his life like nothing had happened. But for whatever reason, his bad boy artists were not so secure in their ways. In fact, they were very cautious of their whereabouts and made sure to avoid California at all costs. Eventually, though, they would have to go back to Cali. And that takes us to the Soul Train Awards of 1997. The awards are held in Los Angeles, and because of this, the bad boy artists do not want to go. In particular, Mace thinks it's too risky, and Biggie decides to not go at all. He happens to have a broken femur, and he tells Puff that he's in too much pain to fly back and forth. He also mentions that going to LA is not the best idea, which is really the real reason. But Puff tells him that he'll be safe and nothing will happen. And according to the bad boy president, Kurt Burrows, he kept convincing him relentlessly.
You could not go, but Biggie did have an inconvenience. He had a car accident. I think it was in Brooklyn, maybe downtown Brooklyn. He had a broken femur at that time, and he was recovering from that. This sized person could not really sit comfortably in a plane, not even first class, with a cast on. It was uncomfortable. He was talked into going to the LA portion of the trip.
Strangely though, Puff doesn't care if Biggie goes to the award show, he really just wants him at the after party.
Yo, that whole week, man, Puff was like, yo, Biggie, you gotta come to this party. You know, and he wasn't getting the response that he needed from Big to make sure he was going to the party.
Finally, Biggie caves into Puff and decides to come to LA. But what Puffy doesn't know is that directly after the award show, Biggie will be flying to London. This is because Clive Davis booked him for a major media appearance where he will be introduced to a worldwide audience. March 7th, 1997. The award show takes place and everything goes smoothly. That's when Biggie tells Puff that he's headed for the airport to fly to London. As you would expect, Puffy is livid and he calls Clive Davis right away. He tells him to cancel Biggie's appearance in London because he wants him at the party in LA.
But it was put together so that Biggie could receive an international press junket in London with all press from around the world meeting him that Saturday, Sunday after the Friday award show night. Diddy called late Friday night saying he's not going to London. Call Arista, cancel it. You go. You represent it. You go. He's not going. He wants to stay here in LA. So we knew how big of an event that could be.
Strange, right? Wouldn't you want your artist to fulfill this amazing opportunity? Making him skip out on a worldwide appearance just so he could go to some silly party?
Yeah, clearly.
It doesn't quite make sense. On
something's
top
up
of
at
this,
that
earlier in the day, Mace warned him that some guys might be coming after them.
They was telling him